Hey, y'all.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to Live Your Yes Life podcast, where we share our channel thoughts, discussions, and interviews on what it takes to go from dreaming and wishing to actively living your yes life.
I'm Lisa.
And I'm Kaela.
And we are the mother-daughter co-founders of Rise Leadership Circle. And we are on a mission to help everyone, all of our clients, live their most amazing, lit up yes life. We want to help you get off the sidelines of your life, tap back into your dreams, and have what you really, truly want.
We love creating things that are amazing and magical and powerful. And however it is that you're listening to this podcast right now, we are so glad that you have found us. Now, there's a number of ways, and we are all about transparency and really pulling back that Wizard of Oz curtain and just letting you see us. So I want to tell you a couple really cool things. One is that you might be listening to this as just part of our regular weekly podcasts. We share a podcast both on Spotify and on YouTube every week. And if that's where you're finding us, thank you for following. Thanks for coming back. You also might be listening to this as part of the limited podcast series, How to Get What You Want. So in the month of October of 2023, you might be listening to this way later, but in October 2023, we're airing one of these episodes each week. And then we're bundling them all up and putting them together in a nice limited series podcast so you can listen to 4 episodes in a row of How to Get What You Want. So maybe you're binging this. And we're doing something else really cool. So we started doing a couple takes of this and we were like, this is feeling clunky. And we said to ourselves, what do we love the most? And it's having a live audience. So we're currently live streaming this into our group of clients. So they're actually getting to watch us film this podcast in real time, which I just think is really cool.
It's so much fun. I love it. So Kaela and I just got done. We're not even done yet. Actually, we have one more day. It's a bonus day tomorrow. So at the time that we're recording this, we're in the middle of a week-long challenge with our clients. And it has been so incredible. We've been live 2 hours a day and we've been doing some really deep work. We've been doing some VIP coaching. And so it's Friday afternoon at the time of this recording. We are both feeling, as she said, a little bit tired. And you know what? We're super committed to just keeping it real with you guys. And that's what I love so much about having a podcast is I feel like you get to know us. We're going to pull back the curtains a little bit. We're going to share a little bit about how we think, some of our personal stories. And I think this is going to be a really actually inspiring podcast that we're going to jump into today. So today we're talking about getting crystal level clarity. And I mean crystal level clarity on what you really, truly want, right? So you know, sometimes I ask people like, well, what's your dream? Well, tell me, what do you really want? And honestly, more and more, I'm finding that people tell me, I don't really know. I'm not even sure anymore. Or like, I thought I knew what I wanted, but I think it's shifted, right? So today we're going to be talking about your dream. We're going to look at what you really, really want or whether you think it's just what you're supposed to want. And so we're going to go a little bit deep today. So hang on with us. And I've been talking to a lot of people. So I don't mind saying my age, you guys. I just turned 53. And Kaela and I were having a discussion this week. And
of course you don't mind saying your age. You're so young. You're such a dork. Like, I don't mind telling y'all that I am 53 and look like Barbie.
Well, what you don't know yet at 33 is that when you get into your 50s, you understand that like there is a little bit of stigma about aging and there are a lot of questions you start to ask yourself. So part of what we were talking about this week is that, you know what? I went through that. I'm feeling so excited about the age I am right now and embracing it and loving it. But I'm being honest with you, turning 50 was like a big like, oh, wow, am I still relevant? Do I still have things to offer? I mean, it's so stupid to think about. It's not stupid because if you're having those thoughts, you are not stupid. I mean, there's a reason why we think that way because there's a lot of conditioning and programming and the way the media portrays it. But honestly, I do think that we ask a lot of questions at that age. Like, am I really living the life I want to live? And am I doing everything I said I was going to do? But the beauty of it is, I really think like in our 50s, we're just getting started. I truly think we are. And there's something magical that happens at this age is that, you kind of reach an age where maybe your kids, maybe you're an empty nest, your kids are at college or at least in high school. And for the first time, you kind of have a little bit more spaciousness in your life. Perhaps this could be you, where you're like, you know what? I'm starting to think about what do I really want? I've spent so much time taking care of everyone else. So during the Impact Challenge this week, and by the way, the women in our audience, we have women and we have men in our audience too. But, not everyone is my age. Certainly, Kaela's in her 30s, a lot of women and some men that age.
Clients everywhere, like 20s to late 60s. I mean, we've definitely had clients in their 70s. I would love to coach someone in their 90s. I'm here for
me
that.
Too. Yeah, I'm here for that. So good. And we've just been having a lot of conversation around it. So anyway, what we were noticing is like, particularly with my age group, and what I mean by my age is maybe the kids just went off to college or whatever, is like, I don't know what I want. I'm not even sure anymore, right? Like, I've spent so much time. And I definitely went through this. I mean, it is a busy life when you are just trying to make sure everybody has what they need. They're getting where they need to go. You're always running. How do you have time to think about your dream? So partly we're going to talk about that today. And, so maybe that's you. Maybe you're like, you know what? I haven't thought about it. Maybe you're young like Kaela and you're like, I've been following this track that I thought was the right track to be on. I thought I needed to follow this path that was laid out for me, that maybe my parents told me was the right path or the secure path. And actually what I really want is something completely different. And so that might be you, right? Or anything in between.
Yeah, maybe actually you feel like you really had clarity before, and you truly did. Like, you knew what you wanted, you had clarity. Perhaps you set out to get a degree or a job, or you just went all in on a business, on something that was so passionate for you. And one day you realized it has changed. It has shifted. It's not that wasn't what your clarity was, that wasn't what your passion was, but now there's just something new emerging and coming through for you. And you're looking to have the clarity on that. So however it is that you found yourself in this place of feeling like, do I really know what I want? Or am I wanting what I think I'm supposed to want? What we share today is really going to resonate for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had a lot of discussion in the Impact Challenge. I think this was yesterday's session, and it was really transformational for a lot of people about following what's true versus following what's right. And when it comes to our dreams, I think this is an important concept to keep in mind, because when we follow what's right and what's good, that means we're doing what other people want us to do. We're making other people happy. We're following the path. When we do what's true, which is what I want to talk about today, when you're following what's true is actually what your soul wants you to do. It's where you feel lit up inside. It might speak to your purpose or your mission, or it might be something a little bit different, but there is a truth and you know it. It's like an alignment in your body. However, here's the thing about truth. What's tricky about truth is that a lot of times it's inconvenient for you and certainly for other people, right? It can ruffle some feathers. We can really worry that, look, if I follow my dream, if I really follow what's true, I might upset people. I might not be supported by my partner or my family or my friends, or I might lose friends. There's so many things that we hear stories of, things that Kaela and I have gone through. And so following what's true is definitely not always the easiest path, but it is always, I believe, your highest path, right? It's the path to your
freeing, for sure.
For being free, it's your fulfillment. It's probably your most prosperous path, but it's not necessarily the easiest, but the most rewarding. So I want to play in that a little bit today.
And if you think that if you're starting to ask yourself this, so am I wanting what I think I'm supposed to want? It might be because you're looking for what's the right thing to want, like at my age or with my income level or the place that I am in my life or whatever it is. What am I supposed to want now? That's probably what you're doing, is like, what's the quote unquote right thing to want or the best thing for me to want? Instead of saying, what is my truth? What does my higher self or my soul actually desire for me? So we're going to play in creating some clarity with that. Let's look at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Kaela, speak more into that, because I like the direction you're taking this. Like, what do you notice with, let's just say some of our clients, for example, where do you feel like they start thinking that they like, where do they start thinking that, they want what they want?
I think that people often start by thinking about what they have heard other people around them wanting. And so we will see like, oh, my friends are writing books, so I think I want to write a book. Or someone that I know in my life wants to retire, so maybe I want to retire. Or, gosh, everyone around me seems like they're making X amount of dollars per month. They're making $10,000 a month. So I think I just want a $100,000 business. If I just had a 6-figure business, it would be so easy for me. Or maybe your friends are starting to get married. And so you feel like, man, I want to be in a relationship where I have a partner and I can get married. And it may actually be true that you want all of those things. And it may be true that the way that you want those things is a little bit different. And so it seems to me like folks come into our space wanting something that they have seen around them. And as they start to work with us, it shifts or it expands a little bit. It's usually not that it's like, oh my gosh, I don't want that at all. That's not usually the case. It's just that it expands into an alignment that really feels true for them.
Yeah. So what do you feel like is one of the keys to getting in touch with what you really want?
A key for getting in touch with what you really want is being willing to be still and listen. And that might actually not look like stillness. Sometimes it does. But what I mean by be still and listen is turn down the noise of anything else external. And so, for example, a time when I really get to listen in to my soul voice and from messages from God, from source, is when I'm moving my body. So maybe I'm out in nature, maybe I'm on a walk or on a run, or definitely when I'm in my kayak. If y'all know me, you know I'm a kayak junkie. And so I'm not being still in those moments, but I am unplugged from external factors that are not feeding me direct information just about me and my life.
Yeah, that's so important. And, I feel like sometimes, I love that you gave that definition to stillness, because stillness doesn't necessarily mean you literally sit in silence on your meditation pillow. Now it might, and I love that. And I think that's amazing. And at the same time, it's not necessarily always everyone's path to stillness. And as Kaela said, it could look like you're moving your body, you're out in nature, or you're simply actually just doing a bit of a digital detox, and maybe for a certain period of time every day, where it's like, maybe you actually don't turn on the radio, or you don't turn on Spotify, or you don't put on a podcast right in that moment, or social media, but you actually just listen to your own thoughts. We talked a bit this week in our challenge about how it's kind of an art to actually take time to be willing to contemplate your own thinking. We live in an age where information just comes at us all day, every day. And I think I get exhausted by it. For me, I'm definitely very energetically sensitive. If I have too much coming at me, I just get like, I don't know, Kaela can attest to this. There's like a time during the day where I'm just like powering down. You can literally see me just go like,
and we're approaching that time. So pray for us, y'all. Wish us luck, okay?
I feel like the little electronic thing that's like powering down. I think that's me. It's like energy full, at capacity. But one of the ways I protect my energy so that I actually can think and know what it is that I want is to turn off the noise. And I think that is so important. So, okay, Kaela, so let's talk a little bit about this process of helping people discover what it is that they really want. Can you speak into that?
Okay, so this is not one size fits all. We're going to share some places that you can play and look, but know that it's not about what's right. It's not about what we do. Try these on. And if your process looks different, that is all good. And we super, super celebrate that. So we said that, of course, it starts with some quietness. I think that's maybe a better word than stillness, is some quietness. And that might involve the sounds of nature or maybe even some music or something, but it really is a turning within so that you can connect with yourself, your soul, your heart, your higher self, your creator, etc. We're a super inclusive community and always welcome all beliefs here. So whatever your belief is, know that you are welcome and celebrated here. So it looks like that willingness to turn within and get quiet and actually be able to hear and receive and be open to what comes. And then I think that it really is a willingness to play, to take whatever downloads you're getting, whatever thoughts you're getting, and think about, okay, what's here? What's exciting about this? What's inspiring about this? Let yourself daydream of, if I followed that path, what would that look like for me? Now notice that I did not go to how. I did not go to, how am I going to make this happen? What I said is daydream. If I followed that path, what would it look like? And actually visualize what your life would look like. I recently did this, so some of you that have been following along know this story. If you're new to us, then I'll share a story with you about how I recently did this. My husband and I have been living in Wisconsin for most of our relationship. We've been together for 9 years, and we've been living in Wisconsin for most of that. And a few years ago, I started feeling the pull to maybe not live here forever, or not live here permanently, or all the months of the year. And just feeling a call to have homes in different places, and one of them really being on the water. And one of the biggest practices that I did around this was my daily daydreaming of really closing my eyes, or when I'm on a walk or in my kayak or wherever I was, actually visualizing myself living that life. And this is something so interesting. I'm giving you some like real behind the scenes stuff right now that I'm like actively in. Every time I daydreamed and I saw myself with darker hair than what I have now. And if in case you can't see me, I have like bright blonde hair, and I've had blonde hair for many years. In high school and college, I was a pretty hardcore brunette. Sometimes I would like change my hair color a lot. But gosh, I mean, since I met Tom, so for sure for the last 9 years, I have been a blonde. And every time in my daydreaming and my visualization, I would see myself with darker hair. And just in this last week, I've been really feeling like, do I want my hair to be darker? Do I want to color my hair? So we'll see. I mean, maybe on the next episode, my hair will be darker. I don't know. But because I'm just actually letting myself play with, what do I see? What does my life look like? So that's just kind of a long example to take you to what that could look like.
Oh, that's really good. Okay, so imagination, I want to just pinpoint that. I think that's one of our keys to intuition. I know that it's one of the keys to tapping into our intuition is this ability to use our imagination to daydream. So sometimes people will say to me like, well, I'm not intuitive, or, I don't really know how to do that. I'm like, well, can you use your imagination? People say yes. I'm like, great, that's your intuition. It's always guiding you, and it's a great way to tap in. So you know what? Start daydreaming again. If it's been a while since you've had crystal clarity on what you want, it's time to just let yourself have a little space to daydream. And, something that I talk about a lot as you kind of hang out with me, you'll hear me speak into tapping into your soul voice. So I think that we've got our thinking mind, our logical mind, ego mind that is helping us get from A to B. It is certainly useful in helping us achieve things and get where we want to go. But there's another part of us, and it is that what I would call the soul self, the higher self within us, that is really rooted in the bigger picture here, right? It knows who you came to be in this lifetime. It knows the lessons you want to learn. It knows what you want to create and do and get your hands in the clay. And so I think a big part of this is like a willingness to actually tap into your inner wisdom and start looking for clues. So one of the ways that your inner wisdom or your soul voice will guide you towards what you want is by what lights you up. Simply by paying attention to what brings you joy, what lights you up in a way that you could stay up all night talking about it. You just love the topic. You love to read books on it. You're just almost obsessed with this topic because it's like who you are. Things like that are definite clues to your dreams. So pay attention. What else do you see in that, Kaela?
Well, so for both of these, whether you're using your imagination or your intuition, or maybe you're even using a more logical resource, I'm not going to say Lisa and I aren't logical, because of course we are. We just tend to lean towards imagination and intuition out of our toolbox more than we would logic. But you absolutely might have a practice where you are playing with what would this actually look like, pen to paper. And maybe you are vision boarding, or maybe you are just exploring in a more tangible way what this looks like. No matter how it is that you continue to explore what's here for you, what you're going to want to look for is what keeps coming back. because what shows itself to you again and again and again is really where the clarity is. So we're not looking for just, oh, one time I had this thought and it was kind of interesting. We're looking for the thought, the feeling, the idea, the download, the brainstorm that shows itself to you on repeat. And that's when you can really trust that clarity is coming through for you. It's revealing itself.
Yeah, I would just want to tap a little bit on something you said, Kaela. We'll get more into this probably in future episodes, but I think that we have to remember how powerful our heart is. And, we could use heart, soul interchangeably, but when we're just creating from our logic and from our mind, we are only tapped into a small part of our potential, small part of our power, because our heart kind of has its own brain. That's one way we could say it. It has a wisdom of its own. And I believe the stats, like if Heart Math Institute has so many interesting stats on this, that like the electromagnetic field of your heart is like thousands of times more magnetic than your brain, right? This is like so powerful when we can tap into heart, soul, desires, the things that light us up. And then we use our brain, we use our logic to back up those dreams and those desires instead of the other way around. This is some of the most fun work Kaela and I do. I mean, we work with some business owners who, have huge teams or multi-million-dollar companies, and we get the honor of helping them start to move from strictly logic-based running a company to now leading with the heart and letting our logic back up. And so much magic happens when we start to live this way. I'm telling you, your life will never look the same again.
So if you're listening to us and you are thinking, I really want to explore that clarity for myself, I want to see and just do a little litmus test of, is the clarity that I already have or that I'm creating the clarity I think that I should have because it was conditioned to me by my parents, by society, by my partner, by another podcast, etc., or because it's what I really want? I want to invite you to go within, to get still, to get quiet, to get active, like whatever that looks like for you, to explore and play. And maybe use your imagination and your intuition and any other resources that allow you to get into your heart space and really map that out. And notice what keeps coming through and revealing itself again and again and again. And you can trust that clarity. And when you have that clarity, well, my friend, now you know what it is that you want. And from here, we can go into the next step, which we're going to share with you in the next video. But what about the fact that I have a lot of other commitments and I don't know that I can just step into this right now? So that's where we're going to pick up in the next episode. In the meantime, or if you're binging this, then great. We love a good binge of the podcast too. So we're starting with the clarity. We're starting with, okay, I know what it is that I want, and that clarity is so important. P.S. You can also start messy and trust that the clarity will come as you're working this process. But when we know what we want, the next place that we often get stopped is by feeling like, but can I choose this right now? Or do I have to keep honoring the other commitments? And so that's where we're going to pick up in the next episode.
And I really, really want to encourage you to stay out of the how. There's nothing that kills a dream faster than asking, how do I get there? And that might sound counterintuitive, but that's where your brain wants to go, right? So it's like we don't even let ourselves get to the dream because we don't know how, so we think we can't have it. So I want to invite you just for right now to let go of the how. We'll cover that later. Just let it go. Let yourself just be in the energy of the dream, all the deliciousness that comes with giving yourself that time to just imagine, pretend you're a kid again, and daydream. Okay. So we do want to tell you guys that if you are loving these episodes, we're going to say more about this as we go along, but we do have something that you can plug into right now, or at least, well, I don't know about right now, Kaela.
Well, it depends on how you're listening to this. If you're listening to the limited podcast series, it's ready to rock for you. If you're listening to this live, then it's coming very soon. So you can plug into our offer called the Yes Method, which is a mind, body, soul approach to being a yes for yourself and the life that you truly desire. This series is teeing you up for that. In this series, we're helping you get the clarity on what it is that you want. And we're also doing that by helping you see that you get to go first, no matter the other circumstances and commitments that you have in your life. And we're also going to peek at how we fund the life that we want. And that all tees us up to do the work that we're doing together in the Yes Method, which, like I said, is where we braid together the three parts of us, mind, body, soul, so that we're stepping into our yes life right now.
So good. All right. You can click the link below this podcast or this video and either jump on the wait list or it'll be open for you there. And I hope you'll keep going, spend some time daydreaming, and then come back and join us in the next episode.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon.